The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by Mosaic, your Lightroom photos automatically on every device and backed up, and by Shootproof, the easy way to proof and sell your photos online.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina as they chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 104. I'm Joseph Christina here with my co-host Trevor Curran. On last week's episode, we talked about Apple's WWDC, photographing Angelina Jolie, top 10 selling DSLRs, and Photoshop alternative, Acorn. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, in iTunes, listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox music apps, or watch in HD on TiVo.
So, Joe, we are back.
Hey, we are here. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing good.
Excellent.
Going crazy as usual, but that's all good. I don't want to complain every week. So.
No complaints. No complaints. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Spring is rolling in. I'm dealing with the springtime allergies, feeling pretty good. I've kind of muddled through, I think.
That's good.
So far, so good.
Not bad. Yep. The sun is rising every day in Florida as it has for the last million years.
And it's heating up.
It is heating up. We're like, it feels volcanic outside. Yeah. It is just getting hot, very hot.
Yeah.
So, if you live in Florida, then you know what I'm saying. It's humid heat, not dry heat, humid heat. So,
yep.
80 degrees stuff. Feels like, 100. It's just, it gets hot. So,
yeah.
But anyways, let's start out with a listener question. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. So we had a question come in this week from Mike Kennemer. Mike actually has been a longtime contributor to Current Photographer. He has written a ton of iOS app reviews for us, photography app reviews. So anyway, he had a question for us on DPC, and he said, "Hi guys, I have a question for you. In 2010, I started a blog called The Manual DSLR Project, in which I shared my experience of learning to use my Nikon D300 in manual mode. As part of this project, I started a Twitter account with the same name, Manual DSLR. While I still maintain the Manual DSLR project and occasionally post to my site, my brand is no longer tied to the blog. Can you share the pros and cons of changing one's Twitter name? Thanks, Mike."
Nice. Well, thank you for that, Mike. Hopefully we can kind of clue you in as far as we both went through this process, right, Trev?
Yeah, we did. When I first started life on Twitter, I was using a Twitter handle from an old photography web project that I was working on. Then I moved it over to Current Photo because I figured that made sense for running Current Photographer, and then thought about it a little bit more, and then just shortly after that changed it again over to Trevor Current.
Yeah, and for me, from Allure Multimedia, I started out as Allure MM.
Or Allurum.
Right? Or, as everyone calls me, Allurum.
Hey, there's Allurum.
There's Allurum. There he is. So, I guess it's odd, like Google. I think Google is odd. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, so started out with Allurum and moved on to branding the name, Joseph Christina. So, been Joseph Christina on there for quite some time. So yeah, I mean, it is a process. It's not that difficult to do, but if you do it right, you step through it and you do it quickly, you shouldn't have a problem at all, moving things over, right?
Yeah. So really what you need to do, we'll talk about the mechanics of doing it first, and then we'll talk about whether or not you should do it.
Yeah.
So the mechanics of it, you want to make sure that your new username is available, of course.
Yeah.
So pretend that, log out of Twitter, go to the site and try and register a new name.
Yeah, create a new account.
Right. Make sure that name is still available. If it is, immediately go into your account, log in, then go to your settings, and under your user settings, you can actually change your profile name to this new name. And assuming that it's still available, that one of the other hundreds of thousands of people that are jumping on Twitter every day didn't go in and grab it,
right?
Then you'll be good to go. You'll get your name. The other idea would be to actually create another account with that username so you secure it. Then make sure everything is up and running, working properly. You got the name, everything is good. Then go through the process. Then what you have to do is go in and change that account's username to something else, and then quickly go in and change yours.
And the key there is quickly, because if you change it to something else and then someone took that name,
yep, you're SOL.
You're definitely SOL. So it's a little, you know, it gets a little unnerving because you've, you know, spent so much time with, let's say, one, and you are moving to another. And then bear in mind, you know, the idea is, should you, you know, it's, for me, I always like I always tell people is brand yourself, because, you know, things that you do, things that you like, projects that you're working on, they're more fleeting. You know, it moves. It's an ever moving target. You're not stagnant. Whereas your name never changes. I mean, if there's any way that you can get your name, I always suggest to get your name and brand that. If you want to have a secondary Twitter for all the different, or, you know, tertiary Twitter, if there is a, you know, go ahead. But bear in mind that when you do that, there's a lot of extra work, because now you're going to be maintaining 1, 2, 3, however many Twitter accounts you have, and you have to maintain them at the same quality and quantity of tweets as your main. So it gets, you're doubling work, tripling work, quadrupling work, whatever. But if it's something that you want to do, so just think about that first before you start, you know, meandering here, there, and elsewhere, you know?
Right, exactly. I mean, by changing your username, you will maintain all of your existing followers. But what you need to think about too, so Mike, you know, has his manual DSLR project. That's how he branded his Twitter. If you want to change your name to Mike Kennemer, but you're not really going to be talking about photography anymore, for example, you may not want to keep that same user base. That user base may no longer be appropriate to what you're doing.
Right.
If you are doing something photography related, then yes, then it makes sense. Then just change the name.
Right.
If you wanted to brand it with your name, but now you're talking about, you know, whatever, landscaping, you know, and that's your thing, then you probably want to start and build a new audience, start from scratch. And at that point, I wouldn't change your name, just create a new account with whatever name you had, and then just work off that.
Absolutely. So hopefully that helps Mike.
Yes.
In at least a little bit. So anyways, going forward, Twitter comes up with a kind of a new ad program, not a new, but kind of recreates their ad program, very similar to Facebook's ad program, right?
Yeah, so Twitter has had this advertising deal for a while, and it's kind of been the type of thing that you had to be, you know, invited to be able to participate.
That's right.
And then you had to, and it was more of like a full service type of advertising platform.
And you had a minimum, like, and you're having to pay some bucks. This is just not just going to jump in there.
Right, exactly. You were paying some money. So really the only people that were doing it were the people that had money to spend, you know, corporations that were looking to build their Twitter accounts, you know, or celebrities who were looking to, you know, build up their followings and stuff. So now what they've done is they've basically taken this platform and rolled it out into a self-service platform similar to Facebook. Right. You know, the Facebook advertising, promoted posts, all that type of stuff. So now you can actually go in there, create an ad. You're able to promote a tweet or your profile.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. They're kind of limiting it, you know, I mean, as to the different options that you can promote. And you can actually target your audience based on category or based on followers of a user.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. I think that's the biggest thing that I found out of this whole entire lot of, you know, their model is the idea of, you know, really kind of pushing it towards targeting categories, as well as I like the idea of, you know, followers of a user, or maybe followers, just think of the user being possibly a product. So, you know, maybe it's all the users that are following Canon, let's say, or all the users that are following, you know, something. That's really cool. I like that. And I think that's going to be good. That could really work out well.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, take that same approach and look at, you know, maybe a local catering facility or a local facility where people run weddings that may be very popular. Maybe they have a Twitter account. It would be great to follow the people who follow their Twitter account.
Right. Or
to
target
get
them.
in front of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
because people who use their facility very well may be interested in you as a photographer to take their pictures of the events that they hold at that facility, whether it be weddings or business meetings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that a lot. It is a bidding process similar to Facebook. So, you know, you put in a dollar amount, you get your exposure based on how much you're willing to spend.
Exactly.
So, you know, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I don't have firsthand experience with it. I've talked to other people who have, and they have said results have been mediocre.
Right.
But you don't know until you try.
I can imagine, and you know, it's new. You know, anything that's like kind of new. It's like I don't usually jump on these type of things right away. I let them kind of get the little bugs out, and all the other people complain instead of me being the one that's complaining. You know,
Right.
But yeah, I think it's something to look at. I like the way. I mean, they've taken it's just right out of a playbook out of Facebook. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing new, which is kind of probably comforting from anyone that's done Facebook ads. They would just say, okay, this is how we do it. We know how the bidding.
It's a familiar approach.
Yeah, it's very familiar. So we'll see. It's going to be good cash flow, definitely for Twitter. And possibly good for, you know, us out there doing these, you know, little promos, little ads. So targeting. But anyways, Trevor, you did a workshop, right? Not recently. What was it? This weekend, I think it was.
Yeah. I did a photography workshop for a new camera club, a new local camera club that just formed.
Right.
And it was kind of funny how this whole thing came about.
Isn't it fun? A lot of fun, right?
It was fun. Yeah. I had a lot lot doing it.
You see the people looking at you, and they're kind of with bated breath, like, what is he going to say, and what is this?
Yeah.
And really cool. I think probably it's one of the most enjoyable things that I ever do is to be able to talk to people and teach in front of them, you know, and just watch their faces and the questions and how everything changes continuously. You know, it's like we say, a moving target. You know, you go in there with one idea, you know, one approach, and then, you know, within 10 minutes, all of a sudden you're down another lane, so to speak. A lot of fun. So you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, you see the light bulbs go off. They have those aha moments when they're like, oh, now I get it, you know, and that's very rewarding as a teacher, you know. I mean, it's like, oh, good. What I said did make sense. All right, great. You know,
it did sink in. That's awesome. That is good.
But, you know, the opportunity came up and really kind of in a totally unexpected way. So as I've said a million times, I'm part of my local Chamber of Commerce, and I was at this event. And I just happened to speak with somebody who was the head of an organization at my local community college. Told her what I did. They asked me to do this workshop, a photography workshop at the college for this ladies event that they were having one weekend. That was a few weeks ago.
Right.
So I did that. That was great. I had great results, a great turnout for it. People were very pleased. That was fantastic. Well, when I came on board, agreed to do that event, they posted my information about the event online. And the lady that just started this camera club, this local camera club, she saw my name, Googled it, found me online, connected with me through the DPC site, and asked me if I would be interested in guest speaking at their new camera club that they just formed.
I always find it interesting how, you know, people will Google you or they'll Google me, and, you know, instead of connecting with me, let's say through Allure Multimedia, they'll connect, you know, through DPC, or instead of them connecting to you through Current Photographer, through your work over there, they'll connect through DPC also. I always find that very interesting, you know, how that works out.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, we're, you know, in Google, we're all over the place. So we've got so many properties that we're part of, so many, you know, connections that we've made. But so anyway, the event was great. It was for a group of senior citizens. Not all of them were seniors. It's a general camera club, but the majority of them that are members were seniors, and there was about 30 people there. It was really great.
I think it always depends on what time of day these things are held, right?
They run this during the day specifically, so you know, the seniors who are able to attend, because maybe they don't want to drive at nighttime and stuff, and that makes sense. So, but it was cool. I did some critiques of their photos. This month's theme for their photos was water.
Right.
So they all had pictures of water. There's probably 40 of them up on this table. So I went through a bunch of them and kind of just gave some pointers and everything about, what I liked, what I thought could use improvement on,
Sure.
Which was great. And then I did a talk about exposure and, basically the exposure triangle, ISO, shutter, and aperture.
Right.
And gave them a little cheat sheet with the information on it so they could really get it, because these are very beginners. They don't have a lot of experience with photography. And, the idea of water being the theme is I wanted to show how to capture the movement of water.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that's
yes.
a great, you're not going to get a better subject for, demonstrating exposure for sure.
Right, exactly. So, it really worked out great. But so this is the takeaway from this. I'm not just talking about it just to talk about it. I'm talking about it to share with you the experience and to recommend that you guys do the same thing if you have the opportunity or make the opportunity.
Right.
There are so many advantages that can come of this. Either try and get in and guest speak at a camera club, a local camera club, multiple local camera clubs, or try and run some workshops, in your local area. I mean, getting the people that may not know about you to come on board to join your workshop may be a little bit harder. If you can go through a camera club, right, you've already got a captive audience of people who would be interested. If you do a bang up job, they're going to be a lot more willing to want to participate in one of your paid workshops.
Yeah. And I tell you what, the camera clubs, like you say, is a great place to start because they are always looking for people to speak. And if you do speak at let's say the local camera club, there's usually many anyways, but if you do speak at one and you bring along something as a freebie, as a takeaway, or something more than just you speaking, something that goes along with them, and it has your information on it, it's very likely that they'll contact you in the future for other events that you'll be, let's say, attending, or other, like you said, other workshops. It's like a soft sell, but nicely, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and not only that, but every time you do one of these speaking things, it builds you as an expert in your local community.
Right.
Now it puts you top of mind, because these people that are in these camera clubs most likely are not professional photographers. Professional photographers don't necessarily participate in the camera clubs. So most of them there are amateurs, they're advanced shooters. They're doing it as a hobby,
right?
Which basically translates in they still have the need for professional photography, for events, for weddings, for maybe they want studio portraits done. Even if they have a good DSLR camera, that doesn't mean that they're going to have the setups in their homes to do, beautiful family portraits for the holidays. So when the need arises, you are definitely going to be the first one they think of.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good way to get, obviously you're in front of the community on a regular basis this way if you're doing these speaking things. And then what happens is the corporate, folks that attend, they can very easily say, oh, I remember this guy. He seemed very knowledgeable. Let's go ahead and hire him. So, there's a lot of things, from speaking gigs to actually, sales products that you can sell. To
workshop DVDs. I mean, if I had gone to this workshop and had a box full of DVDs of intro to photography, I probably could have sold one to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that wasn't my intent. I didn't go there planning that. But looking at it, I mean, I was taking out equipment and showing them equipment, like the Black Rapid sports strap.
Sure.
I know you have the Black Rapid, and I absolutely hate the neck straps that come with the cameras. I mean, they're just awful. So I went out and I bought this Black Rapid strap. Love it. Absolutely love it. I showed it to them. I talked about it. Black Rapid wasn't sponsoring me, but I bet you I know for a fact that people are going out and buying that strap now.
Yeah,
because they tried it on, they played with it, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so much nicer."
No, absolutely, yeah, and the other point of it is it's the same thing as like when I say do some shooting for the nonprofits. What it does is it shows that you're making your money in the local community. It's always nice to give back, and people recognize that. Absolutely. And what happens is you do that long enough, and someone in the upper echelons, like I always say, will recognize that you're doing it, and you will definitely benefit tenfold from doing it. So,
Absolutely.
there's a lot of positives that can come from just simply, giving back to the nonprofit or speaking at one of these, at getting a speaking gig or, talks at a camera club or something like that. It's very positive.
Well, I know a lot of professional photographers look to get sponsored.
Right.
They want corporations to give them money or equipment or what have you.
Right.
A lot of photographers that do workshops, they promote their sponsors' products. They offer products as prizes during these things. So, the more you speak, the more you get out there, the more you get known within the photography community. It elevates you within the photography community. That gives you a greater chance of getting these sponsorship opportunities. That gives you a greater chance of having all kinds of other opportunities opening up for you. We know people who have done this. We've watched them take it from kind of just breaking onto the scene as a photographer up to, well-known speakers now at WPPI and Photo Plus Expo who have platform workshops. I mean, with hundreds of people in these workshops, and they're being paid fairly well money, nice money to do it. They're sponsored. They have their corporate sponsors. They're getting money from them. They're getting equipment from them. And this is a great supplement to your shooting.
Right. And, the corporate sponsorship works out well in both directions because number one, as a speaker, being able to give away high quality, let's say prizes or gifts or takeaways makes you look bigger, number one.
Oh, yeah.
But number two, what's really, really positive for the corporate sponsor is they get that initial introduction of their, to their product by a professional. Like, for example, you alluded to the Black Rapid. I've been using that for years and years. I love their product. Am I sponsored by them? No. But I've probably sold a lot of them just because it's a good product and I talk about it. Let's say when I'm speaking here, there also, someone will say, hey, what. And so, but yeah, being able to be that professional photographer, doing the speaking gig, and then introducing these, up and coming folks to the corporate's product is huge for them. Very, very big. So they are looking for good photographers that speak well, and it's definitely one of the benefits to doing this type of speaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not doing it, definitely consider it. I know it's something that is often not comfortable for people to do, to get up in front of a group and speak. The thing I'd say to that is you got to overcome it. Yeah. You just have to do it, and there's so many opportunities. You definitely got to take it.
So, all right. Well, before we go any further, we got a lot of good stuff on the other side of the break. So let's go ahead and take a quick pause here and hear from a couple of our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener. From phones, tablets, laptops, and PCs, these days photographers use multiple internet-connected devices.
Have you ever wished you could view your Lightroom images, folders, collections, and metadata from any of these devices? Now you can.
Mosaic Storage Systems has created Mosaic View, an application that gives you access to your images without exporting or using a publishing service.
Mosaic also offers Mosaic Archive, which directly integrates with Lightroom as a powerful cloud backup solution.
Mosaic gives photographers access to all of their images from anywhere on virtually any device.
Try Mosaic View today for free and access 2,000 of your most recent images.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, Mosaic is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans.
Go to mosaicarchive.com and use coupon code DPCAFE at checkout.
Mosaic. Lightroom, anywhere, any device, secure, backed up. As photographers, we're always trying to increase sales and profits after every event.
We shoot an event and have hundreds or even thousands of images that just sit on our hard drives.
Perhaps a better workflow would increase sales by getting those valuable images in front of the client.
That's where ShootProof comes in. At shootproof.com, you can have an online gallery for all of your clients' proofing needs.
ShootProof helps increase profits while building your brand and securing your photos without charging commission fees on sales.
ShootProof galleries display your photos beautifully while helping to streamline your workflow and automate more of your business through their intuitive studio control panel.
Once approved, photos can be directly fulfilled through ShootProof's various professional lab partners or fulfilled by you.
All ShootProof plans have the same feature set. You simply choose the number of client photos stored, decide what products to sell, and the price.
Try ShootProof today by taking advantage of their free 30-day trial offer.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, ShootProof is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans by using promo code DPC20 at checkout.
ShootProof. Upload, share, sell, print.
So in the news, something it came up with last week, I think it was, and we didn't have a chance to talk about it last week, so we wanted to do so this week. And so basically, Adobe came out with an iOS Lightroom app, and we've been wanting this for quite some time. And it gives us the ability to work on raw images in the iPad, on the iPad. So
yeah,
that's really big, really big. I love that whole idea. Whereas you can actually do some let's say modifying color or categorizing or moving stuff around a little bit, doing basic edits and then saving it and then being able to sync it back to your computer after the fact. That is glorious. That is nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. What is it? Tom Hogarty.
Yeah.
From Adobe. He's the Lightroom product manager. And he was actually on Scott Kelby's show, The Grid, talking about this.
Yeah.
And it actually is not released yet. Adobe is working on it. It's still
alpha,
early alpha.
Yeah.
In the demonstration he did, there were features in the menus that still don't even work yet. So that's how early it is. But really what Adobe's looking to do right now is just get the word out about it, kind of build the buzz about it. What better way to do it than going on Scott Kelby's show? He's got a big audience. So, and now we're talking about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the way they're working it is they're doing lossless DNG on the back end, which is smart. I love that. That makes sense to me. So that it'll be directly, those DNGs will be directly imported into your Lightroom. I'm going to guess they're probably working on Sidecar, XML
yeah,
files,
that's exactly right. That's what he said. It's all Sidecar data.
Yeah, so you're just making small tweaks and modifications to basically a text file. That text file then gets sent back to the main machine, and it updates all of the non-destructive filters and changes that you do basically in the application. So I love it. I mean, this is something that I've been wanting forever. I think it's great. It's a good method of doing some on-site modifications without having to bring the laptop if you really don't need to. And then also you can actually have, let's say a DP on site looking at something and playing with some coloring, playing with some filters or playing with this, that, or the other thing right there on set. And those settings that DP is like playing with get saved. So that's really cool. That's really cool. So you can have your version, you can have the DP's version, you can have the original. It's all, right there basically in a small text file, an XML file or whatnot. So I love it. Alpha, that means I'm going to say, we're not going to see it for at least, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I would think. He didn't really give an indication, but yeah, I would think it's going to be a while. So yeah. I know Scott had asked him actually in this, chat that they were having, whether this new app is actually supporting syncing yet.
Right.
And he basically could neither confirm nor
he plead
deny.
the fifth.
Yeah, he pleaded the fifth. There's just so many stuff, so many things that are still in development that, he could only just say so much about it. But what's kind of interesting is our sponsor, Mosaic, Mosaic Archive. They actually just launched an iOS app version of their web interface.
Right.
And I'm sure you guys have heard the ads and you have a good understanding of what it's all about. And it allows, Mosaic allows you to sync your Lightroom libraries on your iPad, your smartphone, or what have you. Well, it was being done through basically a web interface at that point. Well, now they actually launched an iOS app to do it, which is nice, because now in the app form, when Mosaic makes some updates and stuff, they can actually push it out through the app, get the updates out there, rather than having to rely on the web interface.
And seeing that Adobe's going down this track, you know that Mosaic is basically on the right track.
Yeah, well, Mosaic did it way before Adobe's even doing it. Exactly. So it's kind of a nice affirmation that, Mosaic is they're really on the cutting edge of this stuff. So, I mean, they're ahead of Adobe's curve on this. So,
yes, kudos
to Mosaic. That's exactly.
Right. That's right. They are a sponsor, of course, but they're definitely, like you said, cutting edge, and they got it straight.
Yep.
Especially I love to see things before the big players actually do it. I love to see some of the smaller guys really, kind of get in there and start doing these things beforehand, because they're really, the smaller guys are the ones that run everything. We're basically the beta testers. The bigger guys, they watch what we do, and then what they do is they implement some of the things that work out. So,
or they buy the companies out,
or they buy
their technology.
Right. Exactly.
Google is, that's what they do.
They're
right?
Notorious.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, another thing that came through was we always, I'm like a fan of Instagram. I love the Hipstamatic app for the iOS, taking, photographs and putting filters to them. They launched a new social network, right? Hipstamatic did this week. I think it was Wednesday. You can't really get in it yet. I think you have to kind of
it's like an invite thing.
Invite only. You can request to be invited or whatnot. But it's called what? Oggl, I think. Oggl.
Yeah, it's Oggl,
something like that.
It's one of these oddball Oggl.
Right.
It's one of these oddball web spellings that everybody has to figure out how it's pronounced.
Exactly. Very cool though. It's definitely neat. I mean, I love the whole idea of Instagram and how Instagram works, and I do like the Hipstamatic. I like all the filters. Right. It gives that feel of the old school, film camera, and being able to, load in a 3200 ISO film, with extra grain, really large grain or whatever.
Yeah, grunge it up.
I like that. It just, it feels nice. I like it. The one thing that they're doing, which is odd, which I think is going to work, is they're making this service a subscription-based service. So it's going to be either 99 cents per month or $10 for the year. Not a lot of money,
right?
But I do think that it's positive. I do like that, because I tell you what, it will definitely limit the riffraff. It'll limit some of the nasty stuff that goes on. Trolls, because you actually have to, even if you're paying 1 penny, you're having to give your credit card or your data to actually pay that penny. So you're less likely to be that troll, and hide,
because you're trackable at that point.
Right.
You have a physical address associated with that credit card.
Exactly.
And if you start causing problems, they can track you down.
Exactly. And that, I like that. So I don't mind that whole, $1 a month or $10 for a year.
No. $10. I mean, 99 cents is an app.
Right.
$10 is an expensive app.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, and that's for a whole year of service. I mean, I think it's great. You're right. It'll weed out the riffraff. It'll get rid of the trolls, and it'll take the people who are serious about using Hipstamatic and create this community for them to share their imagery and to comment and to enjoy each other's art, as opposed to being jerks and saying nasty stuff and making comments, and just to get, a little bit of notoriety.
No, absolutely.
Just to get
we
noticed.
always hate the trolls anyways. But yeah, so what does it do? It allows you to take the pictures. You can, just like always, take the pictures with the filter already on so you can see what you're getting, or take the pictures and then, like Instagram, go and put the filter on top of the picture after the fact, which is cool. You can create like galleries. You can basically take a picture, do a story, in photographs. And what's nice is you curate your personal story and you share it with other people that are paying for this service. And then you can browse through their curated editorial feeds also. So that's really, I like the idea. And I think that, even if you don't use it actively as producing and, curating your own story and putting up your own images, paying that small amount to be able to browse a lot of other creatives' works can be, can basically help your cretivity.
It's inspirational.
Absolutely. I think it's a really, really good idea. And I'm not a fan of, subscription anything. I'm not. But for this thing, I think the price is right. And I think they're going down an interesting path. And I think that, being in a community of like-minded photographers, being pro or pro-am or whatever they are, and being able to just, look at other people's work on a regular basis, I think it's great. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's cool. It's
we'll
kind of reminds me like the whole Flickr thing, but for an iOS app. So,
absolutely. Yeah. We'll put a link in there. You'll have to go and, ask to be asked to get on, because it is brand new. I mean, it just came out a day or two ago. So take a look. The next thing that kind of was kind of sad, but, was predicted. I've spoken about this many times, and that's just, Photoshop. And, do you need Photoshop? Last week we talked about Acorn 4 and how it could be an alternative using Lightroom, and then not necessarily Photoshop, using something like Acorn as an alternative. Adobe announced, to the chagrin of many of us, that they're going subscription only very soon.
Subscription only, yes.
Panic,
and that means
panic
no
ensues. People running around, cats and dogs. It's a wreck.
It is a wreck. Yeah. I mean, now the physical products that we buy and install from DVD on our computers are no longer going to be available. And you actually have to download the software from their site, install it on your computer, and then you have to have this cloud connection in order to be able to use it.
Right. Because basically it has to authenticate you as being an owner. And your subscription hasn't expired and whatnot. So yeah, I do not like this, even even a little bit. I know. I think
you
it was
and a lot of people.
Derek Story put out an article about this, and he's a proponent of everything Adobe forever. Great guy, great photographer. Big in the community. Nice guy. And he even, acknowledged that, listen, this is going to be for a very small amount of people that will like this. The small shops that are out there, they're just not going to like this. Just, paying, I think it's $30 per month or something like that. And it gives you the capability of putting the product onto two computers.
So figure a desktop and a laptop or something like that. Yeah.
$30 a month, you're going to be close to $400. And that is I think it is $30 a month if you pay outright for a year.
If you don't pay for that,
I think it's $50 a month.
Yeah, it gets crazy. And then if if you're a small shop, a solo photographer, or maybe you have an assistant or what have you, most people are not going to want to pay this type of money per month. I mean, if you're doing it part-time, you're probably not going to have that money that you're going to want to spend. I mean, many people are using old versions of, the CS applications right now because they don't really need anything more than that. I think who this will be of benefit to are the larger design studios, like the environment that I came from. We have multiple artists in there. We need multiple installs. We did not need the entire creative suite though.
Right.
We didn't do video and we didn't do Flash and things like that. Right. So really all we needed would be InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, Acrobat Professional, like that. So for us, we would go out and we would get the design edition of the Creative Suite.
Right.
And that worked for our needs. With this subscription, you get access to all of it.
Yeah.
Photoshop, include, Premiere, After Effects, all of that stuff.
Right.
Which is good. I mean, if you as a photographer also do video work, now you have access to all these other programs.
Right. For us, we're multimedia creators, so we do video, we do audio, we do
do print,
all
and
print,
whatever,
everything. So for us, it's still not worth it. But I'm going to tell you why. For you guys, where you're illustrators and you're bringing in and out PSD files and the latest Illustrator files and the latest of this stuff, and you are basically manipulating them and then sending them back, and they're manipulating them and sending back to you. You need to conform with the format.
We need the compatibility.
The compatibility from one studio to the next studio and then out to the printer. So having the latest and greatest is very important. As far as, in my industry, as doing photography as well as the multimedia stuff, not doing the illustrating, and we're not really sending this stuff out. When we send it out, it's done.
It's done. Yeah,
we
you're sending it out
end.
For DVD duplication or something
done.
like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a final product.
It could be a billboard. It could be to a music label, because we just did a DVD cover for an artist or whatnot. It's just finished. They tell us what to fix, we fix it, and it's done. So the images that are going to get printed, those are going to be JPEGs anyways. They're going to be rasterized anyways,
or press quality PDF.
Press quality PDF, whatever. You're not going to have to worry about that manipulation of that PSD any longer. So for us, it just doesn't make sense. We can use, like we said before, Photoshop 7, and no one would be the wiser. It doesn't make any much of a difference. But for you guys, so that's what I'm saying. And Derek Story got this right on also. It's going to be for a very limited amount of people. No amateurs out there, no pro-ams, and very few pros are really, I think, going to pay $50 a month to have it. Because the math turns out to be, $700+ or whatever it is per year, $800 a year, or whatever. That is an expensive proposition. And remember, like I was saying, I hate subscriptions. People are going to not like having a $50 bill every single month, especially, where work is light here and there in certain months and then heavy in other months. If you're making a lot of money, you don't care, right? Just like anything else.
No, but if the money's coming in, you don't care about paying a little bit more out. But yeah, I mean, if you're struggling every month to pay your bills and you've got this fee to Adobe for $30 to $50 a month, that's not cool. And that is exactly what's going to happen. I mean, as of right now, Lightroom is not slated to be part of this Adobe cloud, but that may change. Yeah. If that changes, you're going to see a lot of people moving over to Aperture.
Yeah, the migration back to Apple will start happening. And I do like that Apple is starting to figure out that they dropped the ball, with Final Cut, and they've dropped the ball with not updating Aperture like they should. I think they're starting.
I think you're going to see a resurgence there in Apple's court. Keep getting these things up to speed again.
Yeah. So if Adobe goes down this path, as they say they will, and they do not change the model as far as the cost goes, I see a resurgence of Apple. If you have an Apple, I see a resurgence of people migrating back to Apple. Whereas, God, for the last 2 years, people have been running from Apple. When Lightroom came out, people were running from Apple. Then when Apple just they lost their mind, with Final Cut, they completely lost it. They were, huge corporations were just flocking to Premiere.
Yeah,
like we did, so that's all we have now is Premiere. We don't even use Final Cut. So, thank God Apple's, I think, starting to figure it out. But anyways, very interesting. We'll see what happens. And, we want to hear from you guys. What are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to, pay the, the subscription? Are you going to just fall behind and just use, your CS4, CS4, 5, CS5 and not move on to 6 and so on and so forth? What are you going to do? Let us know. We kind of want to hear from you. But anyways,
exactly.
I know we're going to run long, but we want to give you guys back something. And everyone loves freebies, right, Trev? The freebies are fantastic. Well, combing the web for things that we do every week to talk about. We found a lot of freebies, and we kind of want to share.
This is our freebie segment.
That's right. We should play some music. Freebies. Yeah.
Game show music.
Swag for all. We'll throw T-shirts
Free
out.
stuff.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, so the freebies start out with Chrome. Everyone likes, Google Chrome. Google Chrome does a pretty good job as a browser. And what I like about it is they have a wonderful app set, right?
They do, yeah. They have a bunch of apps that probably a lot of people don't even know that you can install under Chrome and run.
Exactly.
So it's pretty cool, yeah. And as far as multimedia, photography, video, audio, those are the ones that we're going to kind of talk about here. There's a bunch of other ones, but
others, right?
But there's a program called Twisted Wave, which is kind of like, it's an audio program. It's kind of like Audacity,
right?
Which is cool.
Right. I like that. It's nothing crazy. You're not going to be doing,
simple audio editing.
Crazy, but simple, beginning, end, cuts, and putting stuff together.
Yeah. And then kind of go along with that, there's a We Video, which is like a basic video editor.
Exactly.
So that gives you kind of like iMovie type of work and effects and stuff. I mean, it's not Premiere quality. It's not Final Cut even. I would say more like iMovie, a basic video editor.
Yeah, it's going to do your trimming. You're going to do your trims, your splitting, your cuts, basically razor tool, and merging stuff together, and then like a handful of effects you can throw on top of them. And a lot of times that is enough for us. If let's say you want to throw together a quick slideshow for a client that's coming in, and you don't want to go and bring up Premiere to go to throw something together. That's great to be able to use a video editor, throw in a bunch of pictures and throw in some background, music and whatnot.
Yep.
Simple, easy, and it's right in your browser. So that's pretty cool. Another one is called Pixlr. Pixler. It's another editor. It's a
photo editor.
Editor, like I guess it'd be like a Photoshop Elements type of thing. Very minimal.
Yeah, again, a stripped down photo editor.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's at the same level even as Acorn that we talked about last week, or GIMP.
No.
But it's something that's good for doing some basic stuff.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you have, for me, a very simplistic text editor. I know people that, they're like, what do you need a text editor for? I just don't like the text editor that comes with the Mac. This editor is very simple. There's like almost no menus. If you just want to type something, and sometimes you just want. I remember I used to, back on when I was PC days years ago. This Ultra Edit was like the poo. I mean, we would just use, there's certain editors out there that just simply work and they work well. This is one of those, just simplistic editor when you just need to jot down notes. It's called, Right Space, I think it is.
Yeah, Right Space.
So, but of course, Google has all the rest of the stuff. Google Docs.
And they have all their apps,
Google Drive, and all the rest of the stuff that comes, along with it. So that's some freebies. We'll put links that you can go and take a look at. Good stuff. The other thing is, I've told you guys many times in the past that I love Clear. It's an iPhone.
Hey, Joe, I think you like Clear, don't you? That Clear app, that
Clear,
iOS app.
Absolutely amazing. It is the best to-do list that has ever come out, that's ever been created. The UI is stellar. They need to sponsor me. But anyway, no, it's really that good.
They should start paying us money.
I beat their drum continuously, but it is really, really that good. The UI is amazing. And you guys, if you already have the Starbucks app, or we'll put a link in here where you can go straight to this link. You can get Clear right now as of the show. I don't know how long it's going to be free, but it will be free. You can get Clear for free. And that's awesome. Go
very cool.
It. Tell us about it. You can thank us. Send us a voice, voicemail, something. Let us know what you thought. Very cool. That is by far my favorite app on my iPhone.
Yes.
So moving into your genre of more free. And
we have some free fonts.
Fonts, absolutely.
Fonts. So fonts, I mean, why do you guys care about fonts? Well, if you're doing anything beyond just photo work, if you're putting type on your artwork, if you are doing design work, you'll know that fonts are really important to your work. I mean, that's what helps make your design stand out from everybody else's. Absolutely. I mean, we all have the core set of fonts that come with the computer. You install apps and certain fonts get loaded in there.
Right.
Well, if everybody's using Helvetica, then it becomes a boring word.
Times Roman, Arial, the same. Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes you want to mix it up a little bit and add a fun font for a headline. I don't suggest using a bunch of crazy fonts on one document.
Right.
I suggest maybe using two and then different weights of those fonts.
Exactly.
But having a nice selection of them is great. So yeah, we found this article that has a whole bunch of fonts that you can download, and they're open type fonts.
Yes.
So they're cross-platform. And really adds to your design.
Yeah, I mean, we know and you know how expensive like Adobe font portfolio is, and you know, buying fonts is a very expensive thing. And if you run a studio, or if you're doing, you know, illustration work and you're out there and you need, you know, 900 fonts, I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for fonts.
Yeah.
So whenever you can get free
really
fonts that are good and they're open type fonts, which is the new standard, you know, the PostScript is pretty much dying. You know, it's going the way of the dinosaur, as we always say. So they are open type and they are free. Grab them, because, you know, sometimes you'll see a font and it'll give you a new thought of how to go forward with a project. You know?
It can inspire you to take your design in a new direction.
Absolutely. So anyways, we need to get out of here. We are running late.
We are way long this week.
That's all right. We can close with some free stuff. So we're going to give you guys links to all of this, you know, 10 or so free fonts, along with a bunch of the other apps that are free, of course, with Clear and all the rest of this stuff. So definitely take a look at the show notes for all of this free stuff.
Absolutely. All right. So Joe, if people want to connect with you outside of the show, what is the best way to reach you?
Find me on Twitter. That is at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H.
Great. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Current.
All right, Trev, we are out of here. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/104. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star review in iTunes. Help spread the word through Twitter. And now you can give us a call through our new comment by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/love. So keep your questions and comments coming, and we will see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Christina. Be sure to subscribe to the show for free in iTunes or through RSS. You can also listen on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and watch in HD on TiVo. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.